What if the foods you fear the most are not the real danger, and the foods you trust every single day are quietly working against you? Imagine opening your fridge and realizing that half the beliefs guiding your choices were built on rumors, clever marketing, or half-understood science for decades. We have been told that fat makes you fat, that carbs are evil, that eggs clog your arteries, that detox drinks wash away toxins, and that natural always means safe. But when we pull back the curtain, the story becomes far more surprising, and sometimes the truth is the opposite of what we have been taught. Let us travel back to the late 20th century when low fat became a national obsession in the United States. Grocery store shelves filled with fat-free cookies, fat-free yogurt, and fat-free frozen meals. People believed they were protecting their hearts because early research linked saturated fat with heart disease. Yet what many did not notice was that when food companies removed fat, they often replaced it with sugar, refined starch, and artificial additives to keep flavor and texture, and suddenly rates of obesity and type 2 diabetes continued to rise. Fat itself was not the villain in every case. It was the overprocessed high-sugar replacements that created new problems. Healthy fats from foods like nuts, seeds, avocados, and olive oil actually support hormone balance, brain health, and help you feel full longer. But the myth that all fat is bad still lingers in many minds. Right next to it lives another powerful myth that carbohydrates are toxic to the human body. The truth is that carbohydrates are the primary fuel source for your brain and muscles. The difference lies in the type. Whole grains, beans, fruits, and vegetables provide fiber, vitamins, and slow, steady energy, while ultra-refined white bread, sugary drinks, and candy spike blood sugar and then crash it, creating cravings and fatigue. Yet instead of learning to distinguish quality, we labeled an entire nutrient group as dangerous, which shows how human psychology prefers simple villains over complex truths. Speaking of villains, consider the egg. For years, eggs were treated like tiny cholesterol bombs. Doctors warned patients to avoid them, believing dietary cholesterol directly raised blood cholesterol. But later research showed that for most healthy people, the cholesterol in food has far less impact on blood cholesterol than once thought. The body carefully regulates its own production, and eggs also provide high-quality protein, choline for brain health, and essential nutrients. The egg was not the enemy. It was misunderstood science evolving over time. This pattern repeats again and again. Another myth whispers that if a product says natural, it must be safe and healthy. But natural does not automatically mean harmless. Poison ivy is natural. Certain mushrooms are natural. Even arsenic is natural, yet no one would call them healthy in the food world. The word natural is often loosely defined. It can appear on processed snacks loaded with sugar and salt because the ingredients were derived from natural sources. The label feels comforting because our brains associate nature with safety, but without context, the word means very little. And then there is the powerful detox myth promising that juices, teas, or expensive cleanses can flush toxins from your body in a few days. It sounds magical and appealing, especially after holidays or stressful periods. Yet your body already has a built-in detox system. Your liver, kidneys, lungs, and digestive tract work around the clock to neutralize and eliminate waste. Unless you have a serious medical condition, these organs do not need a special juice to function. What they need is adequate water, balance, nutrition, sleep, and physical activity. The detox industry thrives on guilt and quick fixes, but sustainable health rarely comes in a bottle. Let us talk about sugar, because few myths are as confusing. Some people believe that switching from white sugar to honey, agave syrup, or coconut sugar transforms a dessert into a health food. While these sweeteners may contain trace minerals, they still impact blood sugar in similar ways. Excess added sugar, whether from cane syrup, honey, or fruit concentrate, can contribute to weight gain, fatty liver disease, and metabolic problems. Moderation matters more than the trendy source. Another common belief says that eating late at night automatically turns food into fat, as if your body switches into storage mode at a specific hour. The reality is more nuanced. Weight gain occurs when total calorie intake consistently exceeds energy needs regardless of the clock. However, late-night eating can be linked to poor food choices, mindless snacking, and disrupted sleep, which indirectly affects metabolism. So timing plays a role through behavior and hormones rather than magic transformation at midnight. Now, consider the myth that gluten is harmful for everyone. For Individuals with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, avoiding gluten is crucial, but for the majority of people, whole grains containing gluten can be part of a balanced diet, providing fiber and nutrients. The sudden popularity of gluten-free products created the impression that gluten itself is toxic, yet many gluten-free processed foods are high in sugar and low in fiber. Simply removing gluten does not automatically make a product healthier. And what about the fear of genetically modified foods, often portrayed as unnatural experiments, while debate continues about agricultural practices and corporate control? The scientific consensus from major health organizations suggests that approved genetically modified crops currently on the market are not inherently more dangerous to eat than conventional varieties. Concerns may focus more on environmental impact and farming methods than direct toxicity to consumers. Fear spreads faster than nuanced explanations, especially in the age of social media, where dramatic headlines capture attention more easily than careful evidence. Let us not forget the myth that eating small, frequent meals boosts metabolism dramatically. While some people feel better with smaller meals, others thrive on 3 balanced meals per day. Total calorie intake and food quality have a far greater influence on weight and health than meal frequency alone. Metabolism does not suddenly speed up because you snack every 2 hours. Your body is more adaptable and steady than that. Popular advice suggests another belief claims that frozen fruits and vegetables are less nutritious than fresh. In reality, produce is often frozen shortly after harvest, locking in vitamins at peak ripeness. Fresh produce may travel long distances and sit on shelves, losing nutrients over time, so frozen options can be equally nutritious and sometimes even superior. The myth persists because fresh feels more wholesome visually and culturally, yet science tells a broader story. Then there is the idea that dairy is universally inflammatory for many people. Dairy provides calcium, protein, and beneficial bacteria in yogurt. Some individuals are lactose intolerant and may experience discomfort, but that does not mean dairy harms everyone. Nutrition is deeply personal, shaped by genetics, culture, and overall dietary patterns. Sweeping statements ignore this complexity. One of the most persistent myths is that you can spot reduced fat by exercising a specific body part. Countless advertisements promise that doing endless abdominal exercises will melt belly fat, yet fat loss occurs throughout the body based on overall energy balance. Genetics and hormones. Strengthening a muscle does not directly remove the fat layer above it. This misunderstanding thrives because targeted promises are easier to sell than patient lifestyle changes. Consider also the belief that organic automatically means more nutritious. Organic farming can reduce exposure to certain pesticides and may benefit soil health, but the vitamin and mineral content of organic versus conventional produce is often similar. The choice to buy organic may reflect environmental values or personal preference rather than a dramatic nutritional difference. Yet marketing sometimes suggests otherwise, feeding the perception that conventional produce is dangerous, which can discourage people from eating fruits and vegetables altogether. If organic options are not affordable, fear can become a barrier to healthy habits. The psychology behind food myths is fascinating. Humans crave certainty. We like clear rules and simple stories. We fear hidden threats, and we are drawn to quick transformations. Industries sometimes exploit these tendencies by promoting miracle superfoods or demonizing common ingredients. The media amplifies dramatic claims because controversy attracts clicks, and over time repetition makes myths feel like truth even when evidence is weak. Another example is the idea that all processed food is bad. Processing exists on a spectrum. Washing, chopping, freezing, pasteurizing, and fermenting are forms of processing that can enhance safety and convenience. Ultra-processed foods high in added sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats are linked with poorer health outcomes, but lumping everything processed into one dangerous category oversimplifies reality. Context matters. A canned bean with minimal additives is very different from a sugary snack cake, yet both are technically processed. Protein myths also deserve attention. Some believe that more protein is always better, leading to extreme intake through powders and bars. While protein is essential for muscle Repair immune function and satiety. Excessive amounts do not magically build more muscle. Without proper training and balanced nutrition, the body has limits, and balance again becomes the key theme. And then there's the cultural myth that thin automatically equals healthy. Health cannot be measured by appearance alone. People of various body sizes can have different metabolic profiles, fitness levels, and health markers. Focusing only on weight can ignore mental health, sleep quality, stress, and social connection, which are equally important parts of well-being. When we explore food history, we see that many traditional diets around the world thrived on diverse patterns, some higher in carbohydrates like traditional Asian diets rich in rice and vegetables, others higher in healthy fats like Mediterranean regions, emphasizing olive oil, nuts, fish, and legumes. What they often share is minimal ultra-processing, abundant plant foods, regular physical activity, and strong social eating traditions, not strict elimination of entire nutrient groups. Modern misconceptions sometimes arise when we isolate one component of these patterns and turn it into a universal rule, ignoring the broader lifestyle context. Another myth insists that supplements can replace a poor diet. While certain deficiencies require supplementation, whole foods provide complex combinations of fiber, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that work together in ways science is still discovering. Swallowing a pill rarely replicates that synergy. Supplements can support, but they're not shortcuts around consistent healthy eating. Now, think about hydration myths. Some people believe that everyone must drink a fixed number of glasses of water each day, regardless of body size, climate, or activity level. Hydration needs vary, in foods like fruits, vegetables, soups, and beverages contribute to fluid intake. Listening to thirst and monitoring urine color often provide practical guidance more than rigid universal rules ever could. Let us address the fear of coffee, once blamed for heart problems and stunted growth. Moderate coffee consumption for most adults is associated with potential benefits such as improved alertness and even lower risk of certain diseases, though excessive intake can cause anxiety, sleep disruption, and digestive issues. Again, the dose makes the difference, and individual sensitivity matters greatly. Salt also carries a complicated story. High sodium intake can increase blood pressure, especially in sensitive individuals, yet completely eliminating salt is neither realistic nor necessary for everyone. The focus should be on reducing highly processed salty foods while maintaining adequate, but not excessive intake from balanced meals. The pattern keeps repeating. Nuance replaces extreme statements. When we examine the evidence more closely, perhaps the most dangerous myth of all is the belief that there is one perfect diet for every human body. Genetics, culture, access, income preferences, and medical conditions all shape what works best for an individual. Chasing every new trend can create confusion, stress, and an unhealthy relationship with food. The constant cycle of restriction and guilt affects mental health, sometimes more than the food itself. Sustainable habits built on variety, moderation, whole foods, and mindful eating tend to outperform extreme short-term fixes over time. As we expose these myths, we begin to see a common thread: fear, self-certainty, comforts, and balance requires patience. The real danger is not a single ingredient hiding in your pantry, but the distortion of information that pushes people toward extremes instead of understanding. Your body is remarkably resilient. It evolved to handle a wide range of foods within reason. It benefits from diversity, color, fiber, protein, healthy fats, and yes, even occasional treats without shame. When we step back from loud headlines and look at the full picture, we empower ourselves to make informed choices rather than reactive ones. So the next time someone tells you that a single food will destroy your health or magically transform it, pause and ask, what does the broader evidence say? What does my own body experience tell me? What habits can I sustain for years, not just weeks? The truth about food is rarely dramatic enough for viral posts, but it is powerful in its simplicity. Eat mostly whole foods, enjoy a variety of nutrients, stay active, sleep, well-manage stress, and build meals you actually enjoy. Because nourishment is not only biochemical, it is social, emotional, and cultural as well. If this journey through the most dangerous food myths opened your eyes and challenged what you thought you knew, take a moment to reflect on which beliefs you might gently question starting today. And if you found value in separating fear from fact, please like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more clear science-based insights that help you make confident, healthy choices every single day.